fellowship with them. When you emerge from the structure, anytime you see a bird in flight, it will trigger a strong feeling that you are doing the right thing, that you are in the right place. And when I snap my fingers, you will have no memory of this conversation, but will follow my directives. You will feel very tired, you will want to retire, you will not dream, you will not have nightmares, end quote. So Natalie Portman / biologist is awake for all of this, so, you know, God bless her. She's like, her rational brain is like, okay, I get, like, it's her job to, like, keep us calm and whatever, but also, like, what the flying fuck is happening? And this is great. She says, the biologist, it's one thing to think you might be receiving hypnotic suggestion and quite another to experience it as an observer. And then she, you know, which she starts to ask her questions, like, what level of control does she have over us? Like, were we hypnotized before we even started to penetrate the perimeter? What were we programmed to do? Yada, 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 yada. Processing. So then, you know, that's it. Like, the narrative stops and you have kind of like this prologue at the end of chapter 1 where she's kind of musing about estrangement. And, you know, she's just kind of like talking to herself in an inner monologue. And she's recalling what she learned prior to going on the expedition back at base camp to prepare her, where she was watching interviews with the expedition members from previous expeditions. What do you call an expedition member? It's not expediter. Anyways, she watched these interviews of these people that basically went into the Shimmer or went into Area X and then mysteriously over the course of 18 months in the book started randomly appearing back at their homes with their families out of nowhere. They didn't like go back to headquarters and get debriefed. Like all of a sudden they just like went home. And then once their families were like, excuse me, what's going on? The authorities were like, you got to come to headquarters and, have a tight debrief. And in doing so, they recorded their debriefs, and she's recalling some of the interviews she watched. And she goes on to say that none of these people in their interviews claim to have experienced any unusual phenomenon while in Area X. No unusual readings, measurements, internal conflicts. But again, after a period of time, each one of them had the intense desire to return home, set out to do so, and did just that. None of them were able to explain how they managed to come back across the border or why they had gone straight home instead of reporting to their superiors. One by one, they had simply abandoned the expedition, left their journals behind, and drifted home somehow. I had the sense that they now saw the world through a kind of veil, that they spoke to their interviewers from across a vast distance, in time and space. All of them, at some point, had drawn the lighthouse or written about it. And this is how the chapter ends, just as beautifully as it opens. At the time, this is the biologist's last paragraph of the chapter, at the time I was seeking oblivion, and I sought in those blank anonymous faces, even though most painfully familiar, a kind of benign escape. A death that would not mean being dead. Sindel's not even here to help me. An oblivion, a type of death that would not mean being really dead. That's just chapter 1, folks. And in the movie, you see the film opens with Oscar Isaac. God, we love Daddy. Do we not love Daddy? Everything Daddy does. We see this Guatemalan prince. Oh my God, you're going to get me started on the movie now. We see this Guatemalan prince in all of his Guatemalanness. Oscar Isaac just showing up to a house, right? You see him walking up the stairs to a bedroom. Here's why I love the movie. The soundtrack, half of it's Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young. Thank you. And, you hear it playing in the background. He's ascending the stairs kind of mysteriously, and he walks in on Natalie Portman painting a bedroom. She turns around and it's just like she's shooken, and she runs to embrace him because it's very clear from context this is her man and he's been missing, and all of a sudden there he is in her bedroom. The film in that next couple of scenes goes on to show them kind of dialoguing. He's very much not himself. Something's very off about him. She's trying to like find out where he was. They're both military. She's no longer in the military. She's an academic in the film, but he has obviously been missing. She thought he was MIA or KIA from whatever he had been doing, and she's trying to figure out, like, where were you? I know it's top secret and all, but like, let's get to the fucking point here. You've been missing. You're here. He can't, just like in the book, like, he can't answer her questions. He's very glazed over. Nothing feels right. All of a sudden he gets violently ill. End of chapter 1 of the movie, if you will. So let's plan to do maybe chapters 2 and 3 and like the second act of the movie. The book is super short. The book is chapter 2 starts on page 38. I mean, the book's only 190 pages, so I think reading like the next, like chapters 2 and 3, and maybe watching the first act of the movie if you haven't, I think would be like a good balance without giving any spoilers away to either one. I don't know, but yeah, let me know what talking points I missed that you wanted to talk about in chapter 1 that you want to talk about for next time. Let me know what you thought about like this concept of beauty and desolation colonizing you, the power of suggestion, no such thing as being objective, and unremembering. Like, I really want to talk about unremembering. Like, what does that mean to you? Like, how does that make you feel? Anyways, I hope you guys liked our first book club, and if you've seen the movie and or read the book, just make sure you don't comment any spoilers. Let's try and keep in pace with where we are. Anyways, I love everybody, and I'll see you on the other side. Bye. Watch out for those particulates too, they'll get you.